How y'all doing? You know, I mean, I gotta start coming with more energy or something. Yeah, but I'm gonna back to another video.
Had to overcome
In real estate
in real
investing,
estate.
learning a new market, that was certainly harder than I thought it would be. That first tenant was a wake up call. Understanding market cycles.
I'm sorry. But I don't do residential unless I have a minimum of 4 units. My bad. Yeah, but I usually don't do residential unless I have a minimum of 4 units. Like you get a house, you put a down payment on a house, or even if you buy the house cash, right? You're getting like 1,500 to 2,500 rent. You have to pay like 1,200, depending on how much the house is. 1,200. Let's say the house is 400K. You put 20% down, you're making 1,300 a month from rent. And in certain areas, you can't increase the rent because whatever the rent is for for the whole neighborhood is what you gotta charge. You cannot increase the rent. That is the law. You cannot increase the rent. So if the rent is 1,300, you cannot increase it. So you put a down payment. You put a down payment on the house. You get 1,300 a month. You gotta pay 1,000, and you gotta pay taxes on the house. You're probably profiting 300 to 400, maybe 500. But if you had 3, 4 units, but you got it in a good location, one one person could pay the whole mortgage, and then the other three is profit. That's why I do 3 to 4 units minimum. I never do single family. I usually do commercial. I like retail stores. I like shopping
I
centers.
just thought I just thought everything was the same. Access to capital, right when the market was rolling over, right, getting bigger. Understanding seller financing, the tax code, right? Because again, you got to remember, I'm a W-2 employee. I make more than, at this time 250 grand, so I can't take losses. So I have this carry forward loss. So, how you can structure those with LLCs and other things, maybe to give you some benefit. Becoming a real estate professional with some help from an accountant. It's just always learning. I think my biggest error was the first 5 years I tried to be a cowboy. I tried to do it all by myself. And part of that was just laziness and excuses because I was all over the earth. I was in Europe, in Asia, and South America. But in today's world, you got to get in the right rooms. One of the things that I pay really close attention to today is who are the 5 people I spend the most time with. Because if you want to get a six pack abs, get around.
We all inherit things from our families, but what many of us don't, the wealth needed to buy our first home.
With hotels and vacation rentals, Booking.com has something for everyone.
She sells!
People that are fit. You want to, be a millionaire, get around millionaires. So that's something I didn't audit before. I think that's a big unlock. I do think it's really hard today. I haven't done a deal. I mean, to your point, I haven't done a deal in probably a year, 14 months. But that doesn't mean I'm not trying. I've probably written 25 offers in the last 14 months. You just got to take your shots. It's a numbers game. It is hard. 2021 was my worst. I wrote 100 offers and didn't get anything, right? Because everything was flying off the shelf. Because I would only write for cash flow. And I didn't change markets. A lot of people have changed markets to, the central or whatnot. But it's definitely hard to cash flow today. I do, most of our deals, when we look at it, occur between October.
He is not lying at all. The interest rates is up. They're dropping, but they're not dropping at a good rate. If you're renting out houses, if you're not building the property or buying it cash, the cash flow is gonna be terrible. And then if you buy it cash to get your profit back, will take forever. So the only way you can make a good amount of money in real estate is if you was is if you get multiple units, which costs more money. But that's the only way. But you can't just buy any type of property too. It got to be in a good location. It got to be near school zones. It got to be near restaurants. Because if a family is renting out from, if a family is renting out from your place, it's a good chance that they're gonna be around there for 5 years.
First and January 31st, the winter months, when a lot of people take their time off. So I'm hoping.
My bad, my bad. But a lot of people end up going into flipping, but that's even worse. Flippers make a lot of money, but if you're not buying that shit cash, or if you're like one or two deals, if you just flip with straight loans, one or two deals could ruin your whole portfolio. You could go broke with one deal. So flipping is terrible unless you're buying in cash or if you just know what you're doing. If you're very precise with what you're
That
doing.
unlocks some opportunities or some seller financing. So you just got to keep learning. And I've been 25 years. I'm still learning.
Yeah. What's your advice for people today, buyers looking for a good deal?
Don't rush. I guess the first thing I would tell people is it's possible. I think a lot of people come into this going, it's not possible. It's hard. It's not easy. It's always hard. I would tell them that buying today, or I'm not even say buying, but learning what a good deal is the goal. And I think that's what frustrates a lot of people because, again, to our earlier point, real estate investing is a skill. And if you don't spend the time learning the skill, you're gambling. You're just flat out gambling. And I don't believe in that. I believe it takes focus, repetition. I think you should learn a very, very small buy box. Everybody that I've seen do that, they understand, oh, that one's priced differently than everything else. So I think a lot of people get unfocused. A lot of people I talk to today that have a stance that it's not possible today, when I talk to them, like, hey, I've looked at Dallas and I've looked at Memphis, I've looked at Columbus, I've looked at Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, you're not learning. You're just frustrating yourself. You're going backwards. Just slow down. Get one area, figure out what, you should be able to tell somebody, your best friend, hey, an average deal, 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, between this and that is a negative 8%, which is bad. But until you can do that, you don't know. And I just think a lot of people rush it, or they just have opinions that it's too hard.
What do you think about the people buying for appreciation?
That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Hey, I'm one of those guys, man. I can't lie to you. Um, yeah, man. But I buy cash. I like cash. Yeah, man. Real estate. My bad. I'm speaking too fast. Residential, the growth can be up to 12% a year. Up to it's around it's an average of 6 to 5. Commercial is an average of 3% a year appreciation. So if you just stack that up for 5 6 years, if you just sell it, what is it? 600. Let's say the average home is 400K. Let's say 10 years from now it's 700, maybe 1 or 2 million. That's almost double your money in profit. Minus taxes, you got what, 4 to 500, maybe 600K of profit. Hopefully you don't blow that money, but yeah, that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. It's the best. That's the best. That's the best fit. That's the best thing you could. And it's a 90% chance that you're gonna make money. It's better than the stock market. It's You're guaranteed to make money unless you just don't take care of your property, like you don't cut it or do you just abandon it. But if you take care of it, that's the best way to grow money. It's not gonna happen quick.
I'm not a fan of that. I had a friend of mine back in the day. He's an executive when I was just a low level guy. He pulled me in his office and said, "Hey, Michael, I'm buying in Louisiana." This was right after Katrina, when they had some depreciation extras come in. And he's like, "Hey, look, I can buy 4 homes." And
Yep. Like me, I like Arkansas. Arkansas, you could get a 6, 7 bedroom for 500K in Arkansas.
And,
Still,
I can
still.
afford to write off $250 a month negative, and given all these, tax benefits and this, is going to go to the moon. Lo and behold, it didn't, and he lost all four of them. Because again, betting on appreciation.
Nah. He lost it because he had a loan. The property still go up in value no matter what. But he had a loan, and he thought he was gonna make money on the top of the loan, and he didn't. That's why he lost money. But if you just buy it cash, you just hold it,
Is gambling.
guaranteed money.
I think one of the ways to bust out I think there's two ways to bust out of real estate: betting on appreciation or having short-term debt. This is Dave Ramsey's story, right? Dave Ramsey became a millionaire flipping properties. Unfortunately, as I understand the story, Dave Ramsey was using 90-day debt. Using 90-day debt, probably not a good idea, right? The market slowed down, people called the loans, and he went bust. I think people going bust in multifamilies because of 2-year bridge debt. I think people that blew up in '06 to 10 was ARMs, teaser loans.
What did I tell y'all? That's why I make these videos about debt. Listen, bro. Yes, your first 1 or 2 properties. Yes, I agree. You should get a loan for your first property. Yes, I agree with you. But but every single property you have debt on it. Listen, if you guys don't read these loans, I read them. They could take all of your assets if you don't pay these shits. You have to pay them their money. They can take all of your money. They don't want to take your money. Believe it or not, they don't want to take your money. They want to make profit on the interest. They want to make profit. They want to make profit. They don't want to take your stuff. But if they don't take your stuff, now they're losing money. Cause they gave you 2 million, they gave you 600K. Now they're gonna lose their stuff now because you can't pay them. So they gotta take something or they're not gonna make any money. And guess what? They might lose money. They might lose money because when they sell the property that they take back from you, it might not be enough to cover it. So they might lose money. So now they got new policies. This is why I be telling y'all like y'all gotta do your research. Stop watching these YouTubers talking about real estate. Everybody like talking about loans. They have these new rules, and a lot of these finance a lot of these finance companies are starting to imply these policies too. So when it's starting to get bad and the company's starting to lose a lot of money, they could take all of your assets. These are new policies, and nobody talks about it because I don't believe people even read about it. Yes, they have rules to where if you're not paying, they could take all of your property because the banks don't want to go broke. So they will take also they will take more. They will take they could take more. So it's getting to the point now where if you owe 600 and you're not making your payments, or they for some reason the bank is losing money and they want to call everybody loan, even though you making your payments, guess what? They're gonna give you a certain time to pay off all the loan. If you don't pay it off, they're gonna take everything in your name, and they're gonna get even more money. And a lot of these finance companies are starting to do this too. So this is why you gotta do your research. Stop watching other. You gotta do your own research.
30-year fixed rate debt, cash flow day one, or keep your money in a money market account and just keep grinding.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on flipping versus the buy and hold method?
Again, I only can share my experience. So while I was working, while I had a W-2, I had no time. So we just bought and hold.
I'll say my opinion. Yeah, I probably don't like the fact that I'm pausing too much. Well, such if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's your fault. That's not my problem. Flipping is wonderful, but if like I said, if I agree with people getting that into debt for something that's gonna be making them a lot of money. I don't believe you should get too much debt, But if it's gonna make you money, sure, why not? Just be precise. Just make sure you do the right thing, so you know you for a fact you're gonna make money. But flipping, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, and you gotta pay these people back in a couple of months. Like I said, you can have 5, 6 deals back to back, making 40K every deal, 50K every deal. You fuck up one time, and that bank wanna take you for everything you got. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going broke with one fucked up deal. This is what I'm telling y'all. One deal could ruin your whole thing. That's why flipping is dangerous. That's why I tell y'all, if y'all want to get loans, okay, get loans, but make sure it's a rental property. If you want to flip, do not get a loan. I promise. Do not get a loan. Buy that shit cash and pay those people cash their money to fix that shit up. And if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be doing it because it's better you can't afford it than them taking everything you have.
I did retire in 2018. It was a great time to flip. We flipped 56 properties. Basically, what I did is I paid people to go find slumlords, and we would pay cash for their property because I had to scratch the capital, and I would fix them up, stick a tenant, and I would sell them to landlords. I did that, but I stopped doing that in 2021 when prices went crazy. So you can make money in flipping. You need a team. It's a lot harder. I personally think you have to have full-time focus on it. You can't do it part-time. There's so many ways to go wrong. But I couldn't have done flipping without having a 15 years experience and multiple teams I could call on.
Are there any emerging markets right now that you feel there's a lot of potential in?
So again, I don't generally talk about that stuff because I think everybody has to do their markets. But if I had a gun to my head, I would go southeast, probably like Huntsville.
Commercial, 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 and anywhere where the property is affordable. Detroit, Arkansas, Chicago was the best place, but it's so dangerous. I'm telling you, I saw a property for 300K with two units, and they're making 80K a year. Wonderful, wonderful deal, but it's so dangerous. So they have to put the deal down a low because it's a lot of homicides and stuff. So if you want to take the risk, go ahead. And I like Arkansas, Virginia. I like Florida. Florida always have deals. For me, it's different because I'm willing to buy cash, so I'm always gonna make money. I make sure 20% of my portfolio. I make sure 20% of my portfolio is is I make sure 20% of my portfolio is debt. I don't do no more than 20%, and the only reason why I have 20% is just so my portfolio could grow. So if you have a couple of buildings with loans on it, if you refinance, pay off the old loan, and use the rest of the money to buy another building cash, you're growing and
Something
scaling
like
for
that.
free.
I've done some casual. I've some people point at that I've looked at for them, but it would be somewhere in the southeast. Price points below 200 grand. Population seems to be increasing. There's more PhDs in and around Huntsville because of NASA and this. They seem to have a lot of good stuff going for them.
And what are your thoughts on the anti-landlord movement?
I think it's coming. You had the president at the latest debate talk about rent control. I mean, that's something I believe I heard him say. I was watching.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing wrong with landlords, but a lot of them do be scamming. Yeah, these guys will like install a TV and they will hook up this what is it called? Fire fire hydrant, not fire hydrant, fireplace. It will make the TV look like a fireplace. They pay $100 for the TV at a pawn shop, and they will charge you extra $300 a month for it. They will put certain carpets inside of the building and charge extra $200 for it. It has certain type of cabinets, certain type of counters, so now they want to charge extra for it. The only way you charge more for a rental property is if you have more room, more space, and the surroundings around it. So if they have a lot of restaurants, a lot of foods you can eat, Other than that, there's no reason. There's no reason to be charging more in rent. So a lot of these landlords do be scamming, and it's actually illegal to charge you more. So that's why what he said with Trump, because Trump also have a lot of real estate. He know it's not okay for these people to be charging you these prices because they're not supposed to. It's a certain amount for each environment, and the government don't allow you to charge more than that. And if they charge more than that, then they have to pay you back. But a lot of people don't know about
I
that.
think there's a lot of folks that are anti-landlord, and I think there are some horrible landlords. I just talked earlier about buying 56 properties from slumlords. I think slumlords should go to jail. I think it's the most disgusting human trait that you could ask somebody to live in an unsafe, disgusting property. I think they should go to jail. That said, most landlords, specifically mom and pop landlords,
Wherever you go,
do a great job, and they care about their properties and they care about their tenants. And I just think
All right, that's for the video. You know, so I know edit my videos. I just react